Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are all enjoying the evening, and I apologize for not being there personally. My name is Sharon, Holland, and I am sure I don't need much of an introduction. My association with OPS began way back with my aunt, Mrs. Coffin, who was my first netball coach, and my mother, Mrs. Wilson, who inspired me from an early age, both being teachers at OPS. I became a small part of this establishment when I began preschool in 1965 and continued through to 1972 when I completed Standard 5. A teacher I will never forget is my sub-B teacher, Mrs. Castle, and Mrs. O'Brien, who taught me in Standard 4 and Standard 5. My success in high school and tertiary education can only be attributed to the solid foundation I received at OPS. I returned in 1983 as a young teacher to a bigger and better OPS, with Zandi Zantes as the headmaster. What an icon! With my mother, Mrs. Wilson, as my mentor, and a wonderful encouraging staff, I began my quest to give back to OPS what OPS had given me. During my years at OPS, I taught most grades covering all subjects and even ran the OPS library for a number of years. Makes me think back to another teacher, Mrs. Davies, OPS school librarian and head of the English department, who also gave me so much encouragement in my first few years of teaching. But we all know my passion and love for sport was my main interest. As the physical education teacher, I was able to use the wonderful facilities and equipment at my disposal to coach, encourage, and develop the learners at OPS. Learners were able to choose from a selection of school and club sports, and many learners excelled nationally and internationally. We at OPS have much to be proud of. My highlights at OPS will always be the swimming galas and athletics days where everyone took part while the cheerleaders and learners cheered their teammates on. My heart will always be with my Rhodes team, who never gave less than 100% to attendance and attitude, always giving our opponents Oppenheimer and Bonato a run for their money. OPS has a history of dedication, and it is wonderful to see it being celebrated at this 85th anniversary of a really extraordinary school. I wish everyone well, and can truly say I am proud to have been part of the OPS family, and I miss you all.